This video I'll be doing an account showcase and a hero showcase of my account. And before we begin, I just want to say this is not a guide. This is just basically what I use to farm and what I use to clear dungeons or Vortex or any competitive stuff. So I just wanted to give a brief disclaimer there that this is not supposed to be a guide. There are some going to be interesting things that where I can show you some stuff that you may not know, but most of you might already know about those things. So first up, let's go over like what champions do I have, what champions am I missing. So I'm currently missing only Grishna, which is the summonable unit. Uteor is going to be an event reward, which we will get hopefully for free. I don't know how they will structure the event. They haven't disclosed anything yet, so we don't know what type of event is going to be. But he's still an event reward. These two are pretty much free to play. Once you clear, I think they're free. They're rewards for Pillar of Trial. Yeah. So both of these champions you will be getting Pillars of Trial as well. So those are the champions that I'm missing, and what I'm currently playing with is, though I have these 5 units built out, is primarily because that in beta I was primarily using Wild team, and Wild was paired with the Radiance team, so I really enjoyed it. But in season 1 I wanted to try something new. Also the pairing of Wild and Poison, I don't really particularly liked it that much, especially because there's the Radiance healer like Asilia is just way too overpowered compared to Ogok. Even though Ogok has more in his crit, he brings attack down, he brings a healing, immortality, also brings a cleanse kind of thing. But Asilia is just too good, and the reason Asilia is better is because of this artifact. So this artifact, Solar King's Horn, whenever the wearer heals an ally, increases the ally's damage by 5% up to 3 stacks. So whenever she ults, she is going to fully maximize that artifact. Because her ult is quite different than the other healer Ogok, who only heals once. She heals like 10 times in a duration of 5 seconds, I guess. Yeah, so it's 10 times she's going to heal. So this becomes really powerful on her. I also have her in the Ancestral Protection set. So when I was talking about my gear guide, there was a description here which says it only takes effect once for the same team. This is a mistranslation, and because of it I actually discounted this set to be very bad. But apparently what it actually means is that only one person in your team can use this set. So this set is still pretty viable. It is really good set to have, especially in Vortex or PvP. It is pretty good, but it can only be used on one particular champion. That's why I moved to completely Radiance team instead of a Wild and Poison team. So I started building my Radiance heroes, and since I had a lot of different options, I went with Filto instead of Thelandor or anybody else, because I feel like his damage is quite high. First off, his ultimate skill, whenever you have a rally on him, is going to be the highest damage dealing ultimate, or at least with the highest multiplier. Let's just go with that, the highest multiplier, because it deals 600% attack once, then another 2 times if he has rally. So that's if you total it out, it's like a 1800% damage, and it's quite a lot. Also he deals in derived damage, so you can stack some enlightenment on him. I've gone pure attack builds with actually a lot of crit rate, so I still need to min-max my gear a little. But yeah, so he's going to be my main DPS, and my secondary DPS is going to be Alton. Alton synergizes quite well with rally units because his passive, if they have rally, it has a certain amount of chance to increase their damage. If they don't have rally, they have a certain bit of chance to gain rally. So he comes in pretty handy for the times where Loranthiel is not able to ultimate or anything like that. And third is going to be Loranthiel. He's going to be my damage enabler. He's going to make sure that my rally units have rally all the time. I don't have to stick with a chance of 50%. And the next champion that I have in this team is going to be Sagomir. So this is an interesting choice because I really discounted him in beta as one of the worst legendaries there are. But in season 1 he's proving his worth. He has a good the only reason actually he's not that good, to be very honest. The only reason that he's being used right now is because of this attack penalty 2, which I need for the Vortex mainly, and that is the only reason that I built him. There are some other options in the Lightning and Radiance teams. So for example, we do have Donella, who also does the same thing of reducing the attack, right? But the reason that I went with him instead of her is because he brings a little more stuff to the team, which is handy in Vortex. So I didn't really, she's actually better for if you're doing arena, if you're doing dungeons, she might be even better than him, because she does this healing prohibition, which is important for rot. She also has attack penalty that is complete AoE, so you can use her in arena, you could use her in some dungeons such as Heretical Ruins, where she might be really good. Whereas Sagir, yeah, he has a little zone where he will perform this attack penalty. Still viable for dungeons, but this attack penalty is not going to go off all the time, and his aura is going to be in Grand Arena, which I don't really think it's anybody going to care about. And secondly, this is the reason that I picked him over Donella, is because he applies this recovery over time for 10 seconds on the lowest HP ally, and also boosts their ultimate energy by 20%. So it's pretty decent. This thing I really don't care about. Like, defense up on him is nice, but I basically use him to tank the Call of Lightning, the single target skill from the Vortex boss. And I have him in the 3 years emblem set. So whenever he's going to ultimate, he's also going to provide a damage bonus to my allies. So that's the team that I'm pretty much using. I do swap it out. For example, when I'm doing dungeons, I'm not at a stage yet because we are not level 100. We haven't unlocked the negative ruins yet. I mean, we have unlocked it, but we just can't use them, at least till tomorrow. So this is the team that I'm using. Of course, this is not a guide that if you have legendaries, you will be able to clear all content in the game. Goes without saying. But do take note of the positioning of the heroes. Second skill is only going to hit Urgander, which is the one target that I want her to hit, because if Urgander is going to take the hit, he's going to place the attack down on the champion, and my DPS units who are lower HP can survive. So this is what my reasoning was for this team. Acelia is going to cleanse the debuffs. I have El Cibre here to reduce the ultimate gauge and also do defense up, healing, extra healing. And I have Filto and I have Laurentiel to clear out this dungeon. So we finally beat the Harpy. The Grave Venom is done. So it took me 1 minute 15 seconds. I haven't farmed this in a couple of days, so yeah. Next up, so similar team I'm using everywhere basically, but if we go to, for example, the Heretical Ruins, which out of the 2 dungeons that I'm farming right now, which is Venom and Heretical Ruins takes the spot right now because I don't have legendary gear that is appropriate for some of my champions. So if you look to all my DPS units still are using epic gear, so I want to transition into the legendary gear as soon as possible. And in this case, the reason that I'm talking about these 2 dungeons mainly is because these are the ones that you will be wanting to farm as much as possible. So in this case, just to give a brief overview of this dungeon, the boss's 3rd skill is going to hatch these little summons, and these are like 2 little phoenixes, which are going to be very annoying because the boss is going to put invisibility on himself, so only AoE attacks are going to deal anything. So if you don't have an Urgander or somebody if you don't have an Urganda, basically there's no replacement for him, unfortunately. But you want an AoE attack down unit. You cannot bring a single target attack down unit, at least not right now. Maybe in the later game, end game, you may be able to do it, but right now you want an AoE attack down champion, because once the invisibility goes up, you cannot target him. None of your champions will be able to target him. And the second thing to note is that you do not want these two phoenixes, these little birds, to get their ultimate. Once they get their ultimate, they're going to start healing the boss, but that's not the problem. You can deal with some of the heals. You can place healing prohibition or whatever you want, but the boss also gets a huge amount of damage bonus, and at least early on this damage bonus can be devastating. Like, this is not going to be 100% team either. If I fail the attack down, I will die. If one of these hashlings is able to heal the boss, it will get the damage bonus and I'll die as well. So the idea is, like, I have my filter who does his ultimate in a 3-tile range, so it's going to hit the hatchling and the boss, so I don't have to worry that, oh, I'm not able to target the boss. And Laurenthiel is just there to boost the damage, and his ultimate is going to target these two at random. And for the second hatchling, since my main damage dealer is not going to attack it, I have Urganda close to it. So when this hatches, Urganda is going to start attacking this little hatchling, and Urganda is in the Holy Hunter set, which has a 20% chance to stun the target, and he also removes ult gauge, and then on his ultimate he taunts as well. So the idea is, like, you want to control this hatchling. You will kill this hatchling very quick, and all the damage is going to be focused on the boss. So without a further ado, let's go. So there you go, we finally defeated it. So it's not a consistent team by any means, but I just set it on auto. When it does beat it, it beats it pretty fast, so that's fine. We did get a legendary material drop from this thing. It's pretty rare to get a legendary material drop right now, unless they increase it after 14-15 days. They're going to increase the legendary drop rate. So that's what I use primarily here. And the next stuff is arena. I usually don't get to do arena that much, and you will see why. I'll do a couple of fights here with you, but after a while it will just block me out. So let's go with this. We're gonna check, like, okay, what do they have? They have 53 skill haste. I don't really care. And this one has 122 skill haste. So let's see if, since this one has this skill on, which is the where's initial battle skill is reduced and you get a skill haste, I don't really think this counters it that well, or maybe this one is bugged. I'm curious to see if I will go first. If I don't go first, I will die. If I do go first, I'll win easily. But even before that, so the team that I'm using here is Urganda is still there, but this is a frost team. We have 2 frost units and a 1 summon unit, and then I have a lightning and a poison unit. You really don't want these many affinities in one group in PvP. So I will be changing it out later in the season when we do have the 5 elemental bonus. Right now there's nothing right now, so I don't really care about it. But this is something that I do want to change because I'm not getting the entire thing. So either I will go with an entire team of frost and summons, because I think Sharlak is really powerful right now. The reason that my Sharlak is really powerful, I should say, not all Sharlaks are that powerful, is because he's fully inspired, and what it does, it reduces the ultimate gauge, initial ultimate gauge, by 5 seconds. So he will go really fast. So I really want to see whether that thing is bugged or not. So it does seem like she's going to get her ultimate faster. No. So for those of you thinking that the hourglass is bugged, it's not bugged. So now it's just an easy fight. We will kill right away. should be over pretty quick. So this is basically the general rule at top arena, is that who can go first, basically. So let's take a look at this example. So this person is also using an epic champion, but he also has Tamar, right? So you see a trend here that Tamar is really powerful. All people are caring about is like, okay, how do we get the other person to not ultimate? So I have a combination of Tamar and El Cibre, and Tamar is going to first do her ultimate, which is going to put a buff, prohibition and stun. You can easily counter her, to be very honest with you. There is no hard and fast rule. If you have a buff on your team, yeah, you won't get stunned. So that's pretty much easy way to counter her. But there are not that many champions that provide a buff from the get-go. They might provide it for themselves, but not to everybody else. There is a champion called Lucian here, and his passive allows you to actually, not have any control immunity. So your team is not going to be affected by it. So he's pretty strong. I do want to. My end game team is going to use him, and I'm gonna probably get rid of Tamar at that point. Yeah, because I want a fully frost / summon team in there. Because once I unlock the 5 infinity bonus, that's what I'm going to be focusing on. And yeah, this should be over rather quickly as well. Just because my Tamar is faster, I will be putting out the stun, and they won't be able to do much. So as you can see, like even before my Tamar went, just because of an inspired Sharlak, there's an extra unit on the team. That's just that's pretty broken in my opinion. That shouldn't be the case, that inspiration gives you such high advantage. It basically breaks the game. But that's typically what I use for arena. And now let's jump back into Vortex. Oh, I gotta go here. Fast travel. So Vortex ranking is really important. I've stressed this quite often in my guides. And the reason being that if you look at the ranking rewards, you get first of all 4,000 of these essence affinity solvents, and then you get echo of Clepsydra. Let's just call it echoes. So you get echoes from here, and this echoes will be used to convert it into the season end rewards, and you will be able to buy a lot of different things. And there's also a ranking reward. You get I think for first place you get 25 Helio dice, but it's much more important than other content in the game, at least early on and later on, because you do want to level up your psyche core with this affinity solvent. So you want to try to rank as high as possible. So at least get yourself somewhere in, like, if 51 to 150 is still decent, you will be able to level up your psyche core fully by the end of the season. So my ranking in this server, I think if I go to yesterday ranking, since I haven't done yet, so I was able to beat a Flora comp, which for those of you who played beta know very well that this comp is so broken. This was able to do 100+ millions in the previous beta, but right now I don't think it's that strong, and I played with it initially as well, and this is the comp that I'm using. Now you may think that, yeah, these units are fully inspired, no wonder you're making such high score, but I'm telling you this from experience. In the last beta, these units were not that strong. You could easily surpass the damage of a rally team with uninspired team like this. But the problem is that this person is unable to use 5 affinity bonus. I won't be able to use a 5 affinity bonus as well, but the 3 affinity bonus is going to be on every champion. He doesn't have this on the Jillian that he's using, and he has to use double healing things. So he's using Horn, and he's also using the Blessed Camel Bells, which basically plants something called a seed, and it heals you when your HP is below a certain threshold. So he has to go and put the Witch's Remain on one of his DPS unit. So he will need accuracy on this chest plate instead of attack percentage, like I said. And this makes the team very weak because you don't have access to Acelia anymore. And if the Fire and Radiance were together, there is no way that this team would have been number 1 right now. But it's only number 1 because some of the key elements have been taken away. So that's why I'm using this. I do want to test out other teams. I do want to test out more poison, more summon teams. But unfortunately, the stamina limitation is annoying. Even the stamina limitation is not annoying. It's Goblin that is annoying because you have to choose between Goblin and gear farming, and I would rather choose gear farming. If that would not be the case, if they implement the same system as the competitive mode setting, where if you level up one champion to 90, all other champions become 90. I think that is fair because in season reset we are going to get to level 0 anyways. So this at least gives us a chance to test out different comps. Like, what's the purpose of Goblin really? You can level up one champion and then you can forget about the Goblin. There's really no issue with this. Because as a content creator, I do want to test out. There are just so many units in the game. Look at this, right? And I do want to make teams with commons sometimes. I do want to experiment with rares, with epics. It's very hard to build units in this game. I've been playing this for a week now, and even during beta, I didn't have everybody at 100 either. I couldn't build them. It's a very small pool of champion that you will be able to build out, which is not good if you're playing the game for 3 months only. If the season is going to last 3 months, then again you're going to build up from level 1 to level 100. But on that side note, let's jump into the team. I have Acelia here with the Solar King's Horn. As I said before, in this case I will put on the Witcher's Remain on him. So he's going to be my tank for the Call of Lightning, and he's also going to be somebody who places the defense down. He's actually pretty good for defense down because this hits twice. So first he deals damage and then he slashes and deals this much damage. So it's a 2-hitter. And each hit has a chance of placing the defense down. Then I have Filto. I should be putting him here or here, it doesn't matter because I think she heals on that arc. Yeah, so they will get healed from her battle skill regardless. And Loranthiel is going to boost the damage. He's in the 15% attack bonus set, so he's not in a 3-piece set because I do want to get more attack from him on Filto and Alton. Alton has the Hysteria Plane Luid. It's going to increase his crit damage. That's why I have his crit rate gloves on him. Ideally I choose not to do with crit rate gloves, but in this case I couldn't forego it because I have a terrible ruin. And then he is going to boost the damage of Filto, and this guy is the most important factor, so I have a crit rate, Flute of the King artifact on him, and his ultimate skill is going to get 25% damage bonus each time he has a successfully cast rally spell casting. So whenever he does his ultimate under rally, he will get extra bonus. And I have him in Executioner set, so he's going to ignore 15% of the defense. If he didn't have drive damage on his basic skill, I would have put on the Gambler set on him for this fight, but since he already has drive damage on his basic attacks, there's no point in putting up with Gambler set. It's bad. There's no easy way to say this. I do have crit rate, but I already have too much crit rate on him. I felt like if this would be crit damage with some attack rolls, it would be nice. And the aura that I have options of for just the crit damage auras. So that is what I'm going to be using, and let's jump right into it. So as you can see, we did about 41.5 million damage approximately, and a bulk of the damage came from Filter, who did about 56% of the damage, almost 57, and Alton did about 31%. So it's a really good team, I feel like, and it has a really solid potential. Will it be endgame viable? I think that time will tell. I don't really think this is going to be endgame viable. I feel like Lightning may have certain advantage over this, but I really wanted to play around with this because it never really got a chance to play around with rally units that much in beta. So that was my account showcase. Let me know what you guys think. What else would you like me to cover in the comments below? I'll see you guys next time. Take care.